there at the end, those 3 touchdown runs. Just kind of talk about the O-line on those last couple touchdowns.
A few holes opened up.
Yeah, like jam.
Oh, okay. I thought you said a few holes. I was about to say.
No. You opened up some holes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, that's how we play every play. That's how we attack every play. We just learned some things that they were doing schematically. We made some adjustments on the sideline. That's what allowed for those holes to open up. And then we also just made a decision like, look, we're letting this team down as a unit. We need to fix it. And I feel like we came together great as a group and said we're going to fix it. We're going to right our wrongs right now.
CJ Dupree kind of talked a little bit about Bama beating Bama in that game. Is that kind of the feeling coming out of that? Is a lot of the times like when you guys were struggling, you're just beating yourself?
Oh, for sure. You could look back at that game and see we had 2 touchdowns called back for holding, and then we had them about 200 yards of penalties. 100 yards equals a touchdown. So those 4 touchdowns that we left on the board. So we were just definitely beating ourselves, and I'm glad we went through this adversity so we know how to learn from it in the future.
How frustrating was it, you guys wanted to right this sloppy game from last year, and then you're playing the same opponent. You weren't able to do that until late. First of all, how frustrating was that during the moment of maybe not being able to break through the way that you guys played?
I mean, first of all, it's frustrating to not perform at your best ability no matter who we were playing. We could be playing Georgia or the Dallas Cowboys. We always want to perform to the best of our ability. So it really wasn't about USF. It was just us not playing to the Bama standard. So we just had to right our wrongs in the fourth quarter, which we definitely did. And most importantly, as an offense, and I just want to shout out the defense. Shout out Tim Keenan. He just got Defensive Lineman of the Week, and they really kept us in that game. So shout out to them. I'm very excited to see how they continue to grow and progress, but big shout out to those guys.
Speaking of Tim, you're a lot of times getting matched up against him in practice as a guard. Just how much of a handful is he at that side and athleticism?
TK, he has the size and his athleticism. That's something that he doesn't get credit for a lot. Like the way his body moves, his quickness, his agility is very surprising for somebody in his frame, and it'll really catch you off guard if you're sleeping on him. But I get to see him every day, so we just get better. And a great thing about TK and I, and Tim Smith as well, like we all have a great relationship. So after practice, Coach DeBoer implemented Shake It Up. So that's when you go dap your teammates up. And Tim and I will talk about some things that I did, and I would talk about some things that they did that are really good, but also things that they could work on. So we're just getting each other better every day.
When did you learn that you were going to be playing left tackle on Saturday?
I always knew it was a possibility throughout the week, but Coach just let me know the morning of, and I was ready for it. Played left tackle in high school. Obviously, a lot different playing in front of 100 to 100,000, but I'm a ball player, man. You could put me guard, tackle, center, tight end, receiver, wherever you need me. I'm going to play ball, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
How did the communication on the offensive line change with the shuffling?
It just changed with who was talking to who, honestly. Like, the communication was still seamless. USF does a great job of showing a lot of unique pressures and stunts, so we really had to be very vocal of that. And it just changed of who was talking to who. Everybody was still very vocal and communicating really well.
Obviously, J.T. Latham came down to Florida to play his high school football, but have y'all had any conversations about playing in Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, he's trying to get some of his friends back at home some tickets for the game, so I got to see if I can help him out with that. But that's all we spoke about as far as that goes.
How are y'all dealing with the noise up there? I heard some in practice. Well, what's the preparation for the noise level?
We're just preparing for it. Practicing with crowd noise and just being even more vocal with our teammates, so making sure we're being even louder than we usually are. So that's how we're preparing for it.
What's been the tone from the coaches this week for meetings and at practice so far?
Elevate. The word of the week is elevate, to play to our standard, elevate to our standard, and not drop to the level of our opponent, no matter who we're playing.
What's Coach Cap like after a game when there's all those penalties? What is he like in the meeting room?
He's really focused on correcting it. He's not a guy that's gonna repeat like, oh my gosh, you're horrible. But he's gonna be like, hey, this is why we have to practice harder. This is why we have to do better in practice. That's the great thing about Coach Cap. It's a lot easier to learn from him.
You talked a little about Wilkin yesterday. What's been your message to him this week, and how's he done?
Flush it and move on. There's nothing he can do about it. There's nothing he can do about Saturday today. What he can work on, what he can't control, is how he performs on this coming Saturday. So that's what I'm telling him to focus on.
What did you think of the way that Pritchett came in late and kind of gave you guys a base?
I'm very proud of Pritchett for coming in late and giving us a boost. Like you said, he's a guy that's really grown along fall camp and even at the beginning of the season. Stepped in last week when we needed him when Caden went down. So I'm very proud of him and the way he's been able to respond to some adversity.
How do you see guys like him and Caden kind of be like itching to get on the field when they're dealing with injuries? How hard is that for them?
Yeah, it's really hard, and I know what it's like firsthand because last year USF I couldn't play. So, but they've also been really good about really helping their teammates. So when they knew I was playing left tackle throughout the week when I was practicing that, both of those guys helped me a lot with giving me feedback, tips, tricks, things to look for. So those guys helped me a lot this week.
You kind of mentioned it before, but just what did it feel like being out there at left tackle? How different was it?
It was pretty different because obviously I'm on an island by myself and things look different, honestly. So like, it's like I look straight. I know I got Parker. I know I got Kaden. I know I got Pritchett. Now it's just I know I got Gino, and then it's just me. I gotta look at the wide receivers. It's just a lot of other things that I have to look at. So usually I'll just be in the box. Maybe I'll look at the safety if they're rolling down, but at tackle, getting in my stance. Okay, I gotta look in the box, and then I gotta look at the safety, see if he's rolling down. Now I gotta look at the corner too, see if we're getting the corner cat. So there's a lot more to look at, but it's a lot of fun, man. I like playing puzzles, and pass protection is like a puzzle for me. So.
Thanks, sir.